Hello. It's morning where I am, so good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world when you're watching this. I wanted to film this quick video because I need to go eat. I need to go nourish my body. I am drinking water right now, so that's good. I've been trying to start the morning with water. But this message is about listening to the messages that your body sends you. This is something that I have really had to hone in on, get present with myself and be still enough to know when my body is trying to tell me something. Even when medical practitioners are telling me that they don't know why I'm experiencing certain pains or discomfort, and based on their findings, nothing should feel wrong with me or should be wrong with me, or I shouldn't be experiencing pain. And so I guess this is like kind of a two-part message. Like, one is medical gaslighting is very real. And if there is something happening in your body that feels abnormal and it's not going addressed, because not because you haven't addressed it, but because whoever is in your care team, your medical practitioners, are saying that they can't figure it out, to just advocate for yourself. That is very, very important. But it also requires a level of self-awareness to even know when something is wrong. Like, I think a lot of people, when it comes to like ailments and things in the body, once the extreme thing happens, once you pass out, then it's like, oh, I passed out, something must be wrong. When your body was probably sending you signals all along and you were ignoring them. And I'm speaking this not just to you, but to myself as well, because for so long I have ignored the signs that my body has been trying to share with me. It's not even that my body has been trying to share these signs. My body has been functioning the way it is supposed to function. And I have been so, I've just not been attuned and self-aware enough to actually be present in my body and say like, okay, if I'm feeling a hunger pang, I need to go eat food. Or if I'm feeling thirsty, I need to drink water or some sort of a like electrolyte replacement beverage or something. Maybe I need to put a little salt in my water or squeeze some lemon in it or something, because my body needs something in that moment. And knowing that sometimes those physical attributes that come along as a way for your body to signal that it needs something, sometimes those are like the last resort. Like, you passing out is your body telling you like, I have to make you pass out now because you ignored me for so long. And I've been doing this for a long time. And as I'm telling this story, I'm kind of like experiencing some labored breathing, because I pulled a muscle in my back last night. Pulled a muscle slash maybe dislocated a rib. And I've experienced this before, and my chiropractor had to pop the rib back in place. It was a floating rib. And it reminded me of that, although this pain was not as intense. So I'm trying to like, hopefully it's not the rib, because the rib was very, very painful. And I can breathe easier than I could when it was the rib, although I do feel it's something that's like slightly rib adjacent that's going on. And I was trying to get out of bed last night, and I kind of moved I didn't even move in a weird way. I think I was just probably supposed to keep my butt in the bed. And so I'm laughing and joking about this right now, but it's because I know I need to move slower. I need to move slower, and I need to be more present. It is a practice of presence, and it is a practice of being patient enough with myself to actually be able to sit and meditate. I think for me, meditating and like, meditation is a way for me to become grounded, and is a way for me to do like a scan of my body. And so right now, if I were to sit and meditate, on what I'm feeling in my body, and I start from the top of my head, which feels a little itchy because I was supposed to wash my hair on Wednesday and I skipped it, and I need to wash it today. And now I'm kind of kicking myself because I'm like, shoot, I need to wash my hair today. But now I feel physical discomfort in my body, in my, in the center of my body, which I really need to be able to lift my arms and like shampoo my hair and all of these things. If I had done it when I knew I needed to, if I had done it before the itch started, because here's what happened. Not that this is, supposed to be a conversation on like my hygiene, but this is a perfect example. On Wednesday, I wash my hair twice a week, Sundays and Wednesdays. I braid it up or twist it up after, I deep condition it once a week. This has become something that has really helped keep me sane and grounded, especially during like this period of stillness that I have in my life right now. And it is something that forces me, not even forced, because I actually enjoy the process of it. Now that I've created, it's become like very ritualistic, like detangling my hair, washing my hair, deep conditioning my hair, spraying my little homemade, teas and things on it. I enjoy doing that. And then Sunday, I washed my hair. Everything was fine. Wednesday, my routine was off this week. That's what it was. Because I washed my hair Sunday and then I didn't feel like styling it or deep conditioning it. So I did that on Monday morning when I was watching House of Dragons. I was like, well, I'll just wash my hair late on Sunday, later than I usually do. Wash my hair late, and then I didn't feel like doing all the rest of the stuff. So I saved it until Monday morning because I knew that I was going to be watching House of Dragons first thing in the morning. And that was when I did my deep condition and all of that stuff. So by the time Wednesday rolled around, I was like, well, my twists themselves still feel moisturized and look nice and everything. But I know from living in this body and experiencing myself and being present with myself that even if my hair feels moisturized and my twists feel good and they feel like they're still clean, my scalp is the thing that is going to be screaming at me. My scalp will become inflamed and it will become itchy if I don't wash it. So Wednesday, on wash day, I was like, well, my scalp still feels pretty good. And I didn't wash it. And this morning, I started to feel an itch, which I wouldn't be feeling if I had washed it on Wednesday when, I know I needed to do that. And the reason I started doing Sunday wash day and Wednesday wash day is because I listened to my body. For years, I used to wash my hair on the weekend and then wash it the following weekend. That was my routine, and that worked for a while. And then something changed where I really started to listen to my body, and I'm like, actually, my scalp feels better when I wash it twice a week. And I may not deep condition with every wash because that would be, a bit much for my hair, but I still deep condition my once a week. And then I wash it twice a week. And so not doing that now, as I'm scanning my body, I'm like, okay, I needed to do that and I needed to do it. I need to do it today, which is still kind of going to throw my whole routine off, but I'm still going to wash my hair on Sunday again because that will be the reset that I need for the week. It's also just like kind of a spiritual thing for me to wash my hair on Sundays too. That's just how I reset my week. Wash the old stuff off from the week. As I continue the scan, I get to about like my chest area and like my breastbone, but in the back. And that's kind of where I feel like I pulled something. So even taking deep breaths does feel a bit labored. And I'm not super worried about it because I can still take deep breaths. And I remembered the pain that I felt when I had dislocated my ribs the first time and how painful that was, how painful it was to breathe. And this pain feels more aligned with the pain that I remember experiencing when I pulled a muscle when I was trying to open a window. This was like a couple of years ago. So I know that I need to move slower today. I know that I need to keep this heating pad near me because that has been really helping to ease the pain. It feels like the pain has lessened from last night. And one of the only ways that I know to, to heal a pulled muscle or something is just time. Time. And so in these moments where something drastic happens, like I pull a muscle and it's like, dang, the pain physically causes me to slow down because I literally can't move any faster. Like I can't go do like 100 crunches this morning. Like that's not available for me at this present moment. And it makes me think, like, was my body telling me earlier in the week that I needed to slow down? And did I ignore the signs and the signals that it was giving me? Or did I just simply have a thought and was like, I feel fatigued for some reason. I should probably move a little bit slower. The honest answer, now that I'm thinking about it, is yes. I am on my cycle. And part of this new reality that I'm creating for myself is where I honor what's naturally taking place within my body. I know that before I bleed, that whole week before, it's going to be an emotional roller coaster. It's probably not going to be the best time for me to have a lot of like social outings with people that I find to be very triggering. Honestly, there's one person in my life where it's like I can only see you when I'm in my best mood, because this person's attitude is sometimes so volatile that I have to be in the best the best mental shape possible to like deal with them, which is also an indicator that like maybe that person just should not be in my life anymore. And I've definitely like set some pretty firm boundaries. But I know that the week before my period, I'm very sensitive. I'm very emotional. And it's when I start to question a lot of the relationships in my life. It's when I start to like have these thoughts like, oh my gosh, everybody hates me. Without fail, like clockwork, every month. And then now that I've been studying my body for so long and really keeping a record of my the different phases of my cycle and how I feel, and even like what my appetite is during that time, as soon as I started having that feeling of like, oh my gosh, this person did this thing, they must not like me anymore. Our friendship must be breaking down. And I go look at my calendar and I'm like, girl, you're on your luteal phase. It's fine. Just detach for a little bit, pull out your heating pad, pull out your cozy blanket, and turn on the Dragon Show and just maybe binge a show this week, or like read, get lost in a book, and do those things that like really allow me to take care of myself. And so I know that this week of my period, although I usually feel a lot better mentally, my body feels fatigued, which makes sense, given the things that are happening in my body. I usually feel pretty fatigued, and I had previously, prior to getting laid off, been in a state of like constantly having to move. I remember there was a really important meeting. It was a committee I was on. It was so overwhelming. It was like a big committee at work, and they set the date for the week of my period every month, and it pissed me off because I would be in such physical discomfort having to sit basically 16 hours, because it was like a 2-day session. 16 hours. I don't really experience too many cramps, but I would just not feel 100%. I wouldn't feel well enough to be sitting for 16 hours in a conference room without being able to like get up and stretch or go take a midday walk or whatever, right? Like I would just be confined to this small space and I didn't feel great in my body. And so now I get to celebrate not having to do that. I get to celebrate the fact that on my period now that I'm unemployed, I can actually take it easy. I can actually say like, I feel better than I felt last week mentally. So maybe I'll spend this week prioritizing relaxing in like a warm Epsom salt bath because I know that'll make my body feel better. Maybe I'll prioritize starting a new book this week. Maybe I'll prioritize binging a show that my friend was telling me about and then like talking to her about it, you know, and we can like catch up that way. Maybe I'll do something for my body, have gentle movements, but like I'm not about to be all in the street ripping and running because that's not this time. That's not the period for my body right now. So yeah, leaning into that. And so I'm viewing this pull-up muscle as another way that my body is like, we need rest this week. Sorry we had to hurt you to get you to rest, but you missed the signs. And so I do kind of feel like my body is rewarding me with rest by punishing me with pain. And like I'm being dramatic when I say that, but it is a lesson for me to be a lot more present in my body. And like even as I've set these rules for myself, because I have, so I know if I look at the guidebook for myself and for my body, I need to like start writing this stuff down, because a lot of it I just kind of go on. I know which phase I'm in, you know, but I don't always write down all the symptoms, and that might be an assignment for myself. But I know that my body is telling me like, you set the rule of during luteal phase, you need to have minimal contact with people or people who are super emotionally draining or triggering to you because you're at a very vulnerable, sensitive state, you know. So like the world will shape to what you believe. And this has happened to me before too, which is why this is not really a video about manifestation, but the power of your mind and the power of you creating your experience in life is so amazing to me, because I've seen it play out in my world where I'm like, okay, I remember I went to a conference a couple of weeks ago, and when I looked at the calendar, my period was scheduled to start the week of the conference, and I was like, dang, I really do not want to be just like that meeting, right? I didn't want to be sitting in a meeting with people for 8 hours and I'm on my period and I'm not feeling the best. I did not want to be at a conference, a 2-day conference at that. You know, I just didn't want to repeat that cycle of where I had been previously in my employment. And so I was really serious about setting this intention where I'm like, dang. And it wasn't even like I was like, God, please like change my period so I don't have to have it during this conference. I just said like, I wish I didn't have to go to the conference during this week. Do you know my period was late? It came the following week. So I truly went to the conference and I felt better. I wasn't on my period. And I felt like I was able to like just enjoy the activities and the event so much more because physically I felt like my body was not inflamed. And so yeah, I think as I've started to become present in my body and setting these rules, my body now holds me accountable for the rules that I set for myself. So it's like you said that during luteal phase, when you're the most emotional, when your hormones are, you know, doing what they're doing, that is not the best time for you to be out and be social. That is the best time for you to be at home under a blanket doing introspective work or just simply having grace. That's the time where you practice grace with yourself. That is the time where you do the mirror work and you start looking at yourself in the mirror and telling yourself how amazing you are, how worthy you are, how beautiful you are, because those are the moments where you feel the worst. So you need that extra love from you. No one can give it to me but me. And so, uh-oh, my heat done turned off. Let me turn it back on. had it set for 60 minutes. And so now that I've been off for this like 6 months, and I've told myself, like, during my period, you're not about to find me out here doing a whole bunch of everything like I used to do, you know. You are going to find me at home, or even if I'm not at home, somewhere comforting myself. I'm going to be at a cafe reading a book or working on a project because that's what makes me feel good at that time. I'm going to be comfortable. I'm not about to be wearing all these tight clothes and stuff. Like, I'm going to be comfortable. I'm going to be cozy. I'm going to allow myself the space to let my body do what it needs to do, and thank my body for doing what it does, and not talk trash about myself, and not be like, ugh, I hate having a period. Like, I'm so thankful that I have one because it means that I'm healthy. Because there have been times in recent months where it was trying to get back on track and it was late, or it was missing, or it was doing whatever abnormal. And that's like a big, you know, big changes in your period could be detrimental depending on what you have going on in your body. So when it comes, I give thanks that my body is able to move, or that my body does what it's supposed to do, and it functions the way that it is supposed to function. So as I continue this scan, I actually noticed that my legs, the muscles in my legs feel a little bit tight. You know, my feet feel better. I had an ingrown toenail the other day and I resolved it. And I say that, and it's like, that might not seem like a huge deal, but if you've ever had an ingrown toenail, you know how uncomfortable that sensation is. And I've been doing my own pedicures, and I gave myself just like a little mini pedicure. And like, now when I'm present about how I feel and how my feet feel, they feel good. I feel good. I haven't, taken a really long walk in a while. So I also don't have any like aches and pains in my feet, but my legs do feel a little tight. So maybe I'll do some stretches later, some gentle stretches, so that I don't aggravate my back too much. But one of the other things that I feel that I just kind of skipped over is like, I'm hungry right now, and it's not too late in the morning. It's not even 9 o'clock yet. Wow. I got up pretty early because I had to put my cans out this morning. But I am hungry. And for a while, I was really bad about ignoring my hunger cues and just allowing myself to honestly starve because I didn't feel like doing X, Y, and Z. Excuse me. That's a confirmation burp or something. I didn't feel like getting up to cook. I didn't feel like doing this. I don't feel like doing that. So because I know that, and because I know that I also have the tendency to go hours without eating because I just don't feel like it. I had to start honoring my body by making sure I had easy meals on hand for the days that I don't feel like getting up and preparing meals. Because y'all, some days, this will probably be next week when the period is over, I get up and I make pancakes and strawberries, and I will make myself a little breakfast beverage or whatever. I'll have my water, and it'll be like a whole 3-course breakfast spread, right? That's not one of those weeks. I'm not experiencing. I wasn't in that phase last week either. But last week I did a really good job with the meal prep, and so I had all these leftovers pretty much every day. I was eating leftovers for breakfast. I don't care what it is. I was eating like chicken breast for breakfast. So it was like high protein. I was starting the day out right. But the point was that I had the things available to me easily and quickly so that I could nourish my body. And I just have to be a lot more intentional in making sure that there is something in the house for me to eat. So I have this kefir, like the drinkable probiotic yogurt, and I have a glass of that. I try to keep that in my fridge, especially for the days that I know I don't feel like eating. I do feel like eating, honestly. I'm hungry. It's just the cooking part. And I don't want to be door dashing something that I could easily whip up in like 5 minutes if I don't have the motivation to do it. So I'm about to go down here and drink this yogurt and then give myself a minute to recalibrate. I have some bread. I have fixings for breakfast, you know, but it's like, it's sometimes as soon as I roll out the bed, I know I'm hungry. I just know I can't cook in that moment, but I'm going to nourish myself with something in that interim time. And that's been important to me. I don't want to ignore my body's cues anymore. So yeah. Yeah. I think I need to lay back down. I think that will make my back feel a little bit better. But I wanted to share this because part of the gift of self-awareness and discernment is knowing when you need to gift yourself. And maybe gifting isn't even the right word, because these should just be like, it should just be the norm to treat yourself well, to nourish yourself, to rest when you can. But I know that it's a gift because for a lot of people, that's not available to them. You know, some people like physically cannot do these things, or are just not able, given the time of their day or whatever, their other obligations, to like have the luxury of like not working during the week of their period or their luteal phase or whatever. And right now I'm thankful. I have so much gratitude that I'm in this period of stillness. I'm using it for the benefit of myself and learning myself and like truly being able to hear my body, especially in a time like this where our systems, the systems, at least in the United States, that have been put into place to help us are really not designed to help. And there are a lot of things that are a lot more harmful to the body than good, although the powers that be will have you thinking other things. So I want to be able to know and be the surveyor for myself, for my own body, when something is off, so that I can start to document the things that cause me to feel good in my body. If I'm eating a food and I start to notice that I'm bloated, or, something hurts, if I'm wearing a certain type of shoe and I know that I'm walking a mile and my feet hurt afterwards, but then if I wear this other shoe, my feet don't hurt, that's data that I'm collecting, right? If I'm eating this food and I feel bloated, like I said, or if I eat this food and I don't feel that way and I feel nourished and I feel like I still feel light and I can still move, but I eat this thing and it makes me feel heavy and sluggish, that's really important data for me to know. And I got to be able to trust myself, regardless of what, if I take an issue to a medical practitioner and they tell me that there's nothing wrong, I want to be in a position to know my body well enough to know that I know when something is off. I have studied this body that I'm in, and I know what makes it feel good, and I know when something makes it feel bad. So I don't know. I just felt like I needed to say that for someone. I don't know if you might be experiencing some medical gaslighting and you need a second or third opinion. Trust yourself to know your body and be present enough in your body to know what is normal for you. It takes a level of self-awareness to be able to say something is wrong, because I just know it. I can feel it. Trust that. You know your body better than anybody else, better than anybody external to you. You know yourself better, but you have to be present enough to be able to hear and feel the signals that your body is trying to share with you. So I hope this video found the person that it was supposed to find. I will see you in the next video. I appreciate you so much for watching. Bye.